Hashem warns the Jewish people not to approach Har Sinai more than once. And if a person or animal were to approach Har Sinai and touch it, they would die. So why does Hashem need to repeat this mitzvah? You see, they had a boundary around Har Sinai, because if an animal or person would touch it, then they would die. So Hashem says to Moshe, go back down and warn the people not to come up Har Sinai. And Moshe responds to Hashem, but they can't, there's a boundary. Hashem says, go back down to the people. Make sure they don't come up. And Moshe gave over the message. You see, 3 days before, they were cautioned. And on the third day, Moshe comes back up and is told to warn them. And then the Aseret Dibrot are communicated. He had to caution them before the event and as it was happening. So the question is, why was Moshe so disturbed? Why can't the warning be said more than once? Rav Soloveitchik, he says there are two types of borders. There's a physical border, and there's also a conceptual, moral, and a spiritual and religious border. And it's a border which requires our own convictions and values. A sign saying this is a private property an animal won't see as a border, but it's still a border. And you may have the ability to rob someone, but there's still a border stopping you. So we see the statement, Panim Yafet, Hakabel et Taha Kidashto. We have to put a limit around the mountain and sanctify it. And if you look at the word Ha, Hey and Resh, what are the borders between the letter Hey? What letters come before the Hey and after the Hey? We have a Daled and we have a Vav. Let's look at the letter Resh. What letters come before the Resh and what letters come after the Resh? We have a Kuf and we have a Shin. So Kuf, Vav, Dalet, Shin, the border of Ha is holiness, and crossing it will endanger your Kedusha. Hashem was telling Moshe there is something holy about Har Sinai, and don't vulgarize it. The first time it's a physical boundary. Later on, 3 days later, Hashem says, create a border around the mountain. But now he's conveying to them the essence of Torah. Don't break the boundaries that compromise your holiness, your Kedusha. Now let's learn something from the Rogatchover Gon. The Rogatchover Gon asks, what did Moshe mean by the nation cannot come up because you warned us? You see, during Matan Torah, the Jewish people had no Yetzer Hara. And something is forbidden, they can't do. But Torah and Mitzvah is not just red, yellow and green lights, but it's an instruction manual for living a Jewish life in this world. And Moshe thinks they will have to break their nature to go up the mountain. Hashem says, go warn them. Moshe didn't realize that they would do Averot. And Hashem was explaining to Moshe that Torah isn't only given to an idealistic person. It's given to people who have to struggle and fight to not do an Averot. And the Rebbe, he gives a third lesson. He says, when the Jewish people have all this revelation of Hashem, it will be natural to want to run up the mountain and connect to Hashem. But we have to realize this is not what Hashem wants. And Hashem wants us down here. Hashem doesn't want us just to be in the spiritual and just to be connected. He wants us to connect to Him by making the physical holy, bringing holiness down to the physicality up to holiness. And that's our mission in this world.